Key Nation, what is going on, man? It's your boy Emmanuel King, and today you see it in the title. We are going to be figuring out how to get wider vocals. Now, we're going to be using R&B vocals with this specifically, but you can use this method and or trick to any type of vocal that you want to use. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, 'cause we a movement, boy. Let's get it. Key Nation, welcome, man. Welcome. So now I know what you might be asking, okay? And one of the questions you might be asking is, King, why do we need to get wider vocals when we got compressors and all this other extra out stuff, when we got things to help us get wide? Why do we need wider vocals? Well, whenever you listen to songs, sometimes the instrumentation might be overbearing, right? You might have a little bit too much kick. You might have a little bit too much bass, a little bit too much 808. Notice everything that I said was in the lower frequency range. But you have a lot of, instrumentation. You have a lot of things going on and you just can't hear those vocals. There's one thing, okay? So if you have that, you just say, okay, well, why don't we just boost the presence? Why don't we just put the volume up? Okay, you could do that, but it doesn't necessarily fill the void of the stereo width and the stereo imaging of your headphones, okay? Which then takes away the professional quality of the vocal. So that's number one, okay? Number two, I think that was actually number one and number two combined. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the screen. Bam! Okay? That is partly the reason, not part of the reason, that's exactly the reason why you want to get wide vocals, man, because you need stereo imaging. You need to have that voice fill both the left and the right audio signal. What's the word of I'm looking? Yeah, left and the right audio signal. Okay, you want to make sure that your vocals feel that. Okay, you want to make sure that it sounds very professional, and it sounds very unprofessional whenever that vocal is very thin. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can do that. 3 or 4 methods on how you can do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, this is a song called Faded. Have not released it, not going to release it probably, but it's very simple and it's going to be straight to the point. So whenever I say these things, you guys are going to pick up on it just like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Now, as you guys can see, we have let me go ahead and zoom into this here. We have a waveform, okay? I'll play it for you guys so you can hear it.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for some rock, and then we doze off. She let me in a belly numb.
So that is the vocal right there, and I'm just trying to see here. Hold on, my Uber Eats is coming. You know what I'm saying? So they get ready to drop off my order. We hungry. All right. So that is the vocal, okay? So now there are a few things that you can do in order to get the vocal wider, right? And to add more presence to the vocal. So one of the things that I can say that you can do is something that you have to be careful of, because sometimes this causes phasing issues, okay? But let me go ahead and show you guys. So let me go ahead and minimize this right here. And what you can do is you can go ahead and create 2 separate audio tracks. As you guys can clearly see, I created 2 separate audio tracks below the initial one that we have right here. We can copy and paste this, right? Now, we're going to copy and paste these vocals, and we're going to pan one to the left and pan one to the right. We're going to pan both of those to the left and right, and we're going to make sure that our decibel range of this is at 0. Negative 0, that's not a decibel range. But we don't want to hear it, okay? We want to make sure the decibel range is, and the fader is all the way down. And we're going to go ahead and play it.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off?
Right? And what we're going to do is we're going to work these vocals in to make the initial vocal sound wider.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for some rock, and then we doze off. She let me in a belly numb. Guess that didn't take long.
Now, like I said, you want to make sure that you want to be careful of that, because that can cause phasing issues, and it's going to sound like the vocal doesn't necessarily need to be, or the vocal is going to sound kind of here, there, and everywhere and all over the place. So you want to be very, very careful of that. You saw what I did. I just went ahead and slightly boosted it up by negative 16 dB so that you guys can hear that vocal fill the headphones, but not necessarily overload the headphones, right, to where it sounds abnormal or it sounds weird. You got to be very, very careful of that, okay? Especially when you go into mastering and things like that. You want to make sure you have accurate representation of what you're hearing in the headphones, okay? So that is one trick that you guys can use in order to widen your vocals. Now, another trick that you can use in order to widen your vocals, give it a thick vocal, right, or give it more presence, is you can use double compression. Now, I do this a lot, okay? I definitely do this a lot, but you have to be very, very wary of what you of how you do this, because if you double compress and you double compress a little bit too much, it's gonna sound squashed, right? It's gonna sound super duper squashed over the instrumental, and it's not gonna sound very natural. So you need to be very cautious of this. What I like to do is I like to do a compressor that gives that really does the heavy lifting at first. So as you guys can clearly see, there's no plugins on this, but I'm just gonna show you guys because, like I said, it's very simple and you guys will get it. It'll be straight to the point. So I have this TubeTech CL1B here, and I have this compressor doing pretty much all the heavy lifting, which means that it's compressing the vocal and it's go ahead and leveling out those transients and making all of those highs lows and all of those lows highs. Right? So that's what I got the compressor doing. Now, in order to get that width, in order to get that thickness of the vocal, and I want to bring that out, what I like to do is I like to go to this second compressor here. It really, to me, it really plays as a very good secondary compressor. I don't necessarily know if I would use this initially, but it really, to me, is a really good secondary compressor, and that is the CLA 76. So, as you guys can see, this is it right here.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me...
You see that it really adds width and it adds thickness to that vocal by double compressing. Now, I'm not going to just automatically double compress right here in this audio chain, but what I would do is I probably put the CLA 76 after I put in my EQ, my de-esser. I'll throw in the CLA 76 to really bring out that presence, because the vocal sounds thin already by itself if I take the CLA 76 off.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off?
So as you can clearly see, it really does give it that thickness, really does give it that width. That CLA 76 is bomb. Now, granted, it is not a free plugin, okay? You got to go on Waves and you got to get it. But what's $30, man? That's 2 Big Macs and like some fries and a Coke. That's 2 Big Mac meals, bro. Is it? Well, that's a little bit, it's a little bit cheaper than that. But and McDonald's is getting expensive anyway. You get my point, okay? That's 2 number 2s or whatever. You feel me? $30, 2 number 2s, fam. Ain't nothing wrong with investing in yourself, okay? Do that. Now, CLA 76, that is another way that you can do it. Now, I will give you guys my third and final way in order to add width to the vocals, and that is the S1 Imager. If you guys go to Mixed by Ali's tutorials, you guys will see that he uses this plugin a lot, and the Imager just literally makes your vocals wider. So let me show you what that does really quickly. We will go ahead and make an aux, a send to this, because the effect is not going to sound right if you directly add it on to your audio chain. So we're going to create a send really fast, if I can understand what I'm doing here. Hold on. So it's on We're going to create a send to this to bus number 3. So we'll go over here, go to Waves, and go down to the S1 Imager. It's beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it.
Looks like you've been busy.
Oh, what happened to my mixer? There we are.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for surprise. Looks like you've been busy. busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for some rock, and then we doze off.
So do you guys see, if you guys can clear, and I don't know if you guys got headphones on or if you're listening through monitors, and if you are listening through a phone monitor or whatever, if you're listening through your phone, you ain't really gonna hear it. But these are subtle things that you can do in order to add more width to the vocal. Now, subtlety is very, very key whenever it comes down to engineering, because there are these little things and these little tweaks that you want to do to the vocal to make it, to give it that professional sound. If you don't make these little tweaks, it's going to sound a little off to you, or it's not going to sound as professional as what you usually would hear and in a club or in a car or whatever. Okay, these necessary subtle tweaks are very, very key. Okay, so let me go ahead and play it for you one more time. It's gonna be subtle but necessary.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for some rock, and then we doze off. She let me in a belly numb, guess that did. Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower.
You can hear it slightly. But I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, these things are needed. I'm telling you, these are needed.
Looks like you've been busy, won't you come and take a load off? Fresh up out the shower, won't you let me take that robe off? Smoke an eighth and down that for some rock, and then we doze off.
So that is another way in order to get those vocals thick and wide, man. Those are 3 specific ways in order to get those vocals thick and wide. Now, no pun intended, but now, as you guys can see, the second one that I use, the second example that I use is a lot more prevalent. If you really want to add presence, if you really want to add that thickness and width to those vocals, then that's a lot more prevalent. Not rules, but tips 1 and 3 are what you want to do if you want to add subtlety. As far as width and thickness, the vocal might already be super duper dynamic. You might really already have that oomph within the vocal, and you just want to add that subtlety to the width of the vocal so that it doesn't sound overbearing. All right, so I like to keep these vocals, I like to keep these tutorials, I try to keep these tutorials as short as possible, because I know I could talk for a very, very long time and be very, very winded. But if you enjoyed this tutorial, man, smash that like button, hit the notification bell and the subscription button, because we're trying to go up in the algorithm. Please do this for your boy. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video, fam. Gang.